This story begins with protection and just a touch of chaos. You see, in the shinobi world, power has always required a guardian, a bodyguard, a shield, a soldier willing to stand between danger and the one they protect. However, occasionally that guardian becomes something else, something far more dangerous and more horrifying than the threat itself. In this chapter, a swarm of monsters descend upon the hidden leaf. Creatures born from instinct that echoes a past life. A simple bug, driven by something far more grand. Revenge. Hundreds, no, thousands, of monsters that move toward a single target. Who stands between them and their prey is Daemon. This boy has the strength of a demon. When the swarm arrives, they'll wake up to the most dangerous thing in the world because they won't be facing a hero. They'll face something worse. Daemon is his own monster. Fear not the monster chasing you. Instead, fear the monster that has someone to protect. Ida. So go ahead, grab your kunai, ready your jutsu. We dance with the devil. The Mamushi Shinjus roam along the streets of Konoha. They still search and hunt for Ida. Orders are issued on the main transmission. Did you just say to leave these intruders alone? Sai commands the Jonin to stand down, to hold their positions, not to engage, but to keep watch on civilians. Something else is in motion. Elsewhere, the Shinju Mamushis falter, a fracture in thought and IQ. A monster that argues with himself. His instinct is plagued by something deeper, something familiar. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the noise. Boruto Uzumaki descends from above a stern calmness and calculation. He's in full control. Relax. We're conceding. There's too many of you. You'll outlast us. But Mushi hesitates. Huh? Boruto doesn't break eye contact. So we're gonna share Ida's location. Over this way. Follow me. As they say in fishing, hook, line, and sinker. Excitement overtakes reason. Mamushi's ugly grin stretches wide and unnatural. The clones flock toward Boruto like predators chasing prey. This pursuit has become containment. Across the battlefield, the shift is immediate. Kawaki and Shigadai confirm that all Shinju have begun to flock like birds toward a single point. Sumri notices the coordination, too precise and too unified. Amato offers a theory that each Shinju can share visual or auditory information with each other, perhaps something more dangerous. While each Mamushi can think independently, there might exist a single collective consciousness that governs the entire swarm. Boruto calls out the destination by private mind transmission formation. Everyone, assemble in Sector A East. I'll meet you there with Mamushi in tow. During the airborne journey, Boruto speaks again. Not to his allies, to his enemy. Hey, a piece of friendly advice concerning Ida's little brother, Daemon. He's her bodyguard. He protects her. He has limitless superhuman strength. He's demon-like, just like his name. Boruto doesn't exaggerate. He states it plainly like his master Sasuke would. Boruto further warns that Daemon's fury cannot be ignored, and recommends that he's dealt with as highest priority. Mamushi pauses for a moment. Something about that damn brat is familiar. And now, for an Anbu tactical briefing on Daemon. Among Amato's many forbidden creations, Daemon stands as one of the most dangerous anomalies ever introduced in the shinobi battle space. Because Daemon does not simply fight opponents, he weaponizes intent. His primary ability is classified as intent reflection. Any hostile action directed towards him, especially killing intent, is reflected back onto the attacker. Not after the strike, not during the clash, but the moment the decision is made. In practical terms, the instant a shinobi decides to kill Daemon, the outcome may already be returning to them. This ability breaks traditional combat doctrine. Speed becomes irrelevant. Surprise becomes meaningless. Even strategy begins to collapse, because Daemon's defense does not respond to movement, it responds to intent. From an open source perspective, this mirrors a real-world concept: reaction symmetry. In physics, every action produces an equal and opposite reaction. But Daemon's ability operates on a far more dangerous level. Not physical reaction, intent reaction. The system doesn't wait for movement. It reacts to the decision to move. From a tactical standpoint, Daemon is not a fighter. He is a self-correcting system. Violence enters the battlefield and is returned to its origin, the attacker. There are believed to be conditions. Historical intelligence suggests this ability is most stable when Daemon maintains physical contact, often with Ida, a possible biological anchor. But even with limitations, the result remains unchanged. Direct hostility creates a lethal feedback loop, which leads to Anbu's final assessment. Against Daemon, traditional combat thinking becomes the enemy, because if violence reflects automatically, the most dangerous decision a shinobi can make is choosing to fight him at all. End of briefing. We were warned, and it still didn't matter. Boruto communicates on the private channel that Mamushi totally knows about Daemon's ability. Ida confirms that he has access to Bug's memories. Daemon scoffs, "'Cause I knocked out a bunch of his teeth?" Above the battlefield, Boruto collides like an escort fighter plane, with Portside has a visual of the large swarm of Mamushi Shinju clones. Inogen confirms 200 Shinju from all directions fixed on Boruto's location. Lord Shikamaru, a 4th grade ninja war veteran, acknowledges the intel. While it's unsure how they'll act towards Daemon, it's doubtful that they'd flee with Ida in their sights. Kawaki, Mitsuki, and Komoharu are positioned. Team 10 is on approach. Our Lord Hokage checks in with Sarada and calibrates her potential kill count. 30? No. 50. Even better. Shikamaru unveils a strategy: shave off their numbers. When they fall below 50, then Sarada ends it with Ohirome. Until then, preserve chakra. This move comes with a cost. Final orders go out. Kawaki and Himawari clean up what remains with wider area of effect attacks. Boruto's inbound, and coming in hot with the hostile swarm at 6 o'clock. Almost there. Are you all ready? Here they come. Mamushi has Ida in his predatory sight. Daemon commands, "Fly, sis, fly!" Ida doesn't question it. She moves instantly, recoiling, disgusted, and retreating from the swarm. The clones collide over each other, scrambling, arguing, desperate to be first. Daemon watches, unimpressed. They're fighting each other. The fools. Then, contact. A hand grabs Ida, and in an instant, everything breaks. The body doesn't hold. The damage doesn't land. It returns. Idiot, he got reflected after all, Daemon comments. Moreover, he confesses that since their intention isn't to kill her, then he cannot reflect on them unless they come after her directly like the last one. Ida is gravely concerned that their flight speed surpasses hers. It's only a matter of luck before they catch up. Daemon responds with a devilish grin. Alright, can you go low? I'll face them on the ground. He drops like a living and destructive payload. Impact. A single punch detonates across the battlefield, sound swallowing the panel itself. A kick. 3 heads deleted. Limbs scatter. Daemon moves like something beyond combat. Not strategy and not technique. It's a correction. Every strike is absolute. Every motion, final. A few Mamushis fly overhead. Ida is the static target. Daemon repositions with a slicing kick down the torso. He grabs the upper torso and throws it back at the Shinju swarm with destructive generosity. Daemon taunts. Are you guys even trying? You ain't getting anywhere with her without taking care of me first. Mamushi is more aggravated. Die, brat! They approach. Daemon counters with his hands touching Ida's neck. Imbeciles. Just like that, the consequence returns. The entire swarm have missing heads that splatter. Sarada and Delta witness the speed of elimination. Inoji confirms that their numbers are almost half the original 200, all in less than a minute. Mamushi warns the hive mind not to fall for his taunts. It was already too late because the moment they stepped onto this battlefield, they weren't fighting a shinobi. They were fighting a cheat code that was unwinnable. Boruto Uzumaki joins the fight, blade flashing through the swarm, like a hot knife through butter. Dumb as they are, don't give them time to think. Let's wrap this up. Mitsuki's snakes erupt from the ground, tearing through clusters in violent tremors. Kawaki aims and shoots with his Karma Blast. No questions needed, only devastating answers. Himawari follows through the air, clean, precise, and devastating kick. Numbers begin to drop, rapidly, 70, 60, we're under 50, and then the command comes, Go, Sarada! She rises as her own sun goddess. Her eyes change. Mangekyo Sharingan, Uherome. The battlefield stills, just for a moment, and then everything disappears. The swarm, consumed by the black hole sun, pulled into something beyond time and space. Every ounce of power always comes with a cost. Sarada's body trembles. Her body shuts down. She falls. Komaharu watches her free fall as the black orb disappears. Boruto sees it instantly. He moves with his thunder god, catching her before she hits the ground. Calling her name, he made a promise to Master Sasuke. It's a moment of grave concern because that promise is slipping. Kawaki and Shikamaru ask, What happened? Boruto doesn't look away. She lost consciousness. Above them, all the spheres have closed. The clones have multiplied in greater numbers than before. Delta confirms that Sarada had already used it earlier. Damn it! It was while we were offline. I didn't think it would be this draining. Shikamaru clenches. Mamushi is more fired up with greater numbers. Across the battlefield, another collapse. Kawaki pushes too far. Too much power. Too fast. Steam erupts from his body. He drops. Overheated. Now he's exposed and pinned down. Sumri is shocked. Amato exclaims, Damn it! He used up too much power. Hey Kawaki, get out of there now! Himawari runs to him. Delta laser beams the incoming swarm. Not enough for this large number. Ida and Daemon see the plant falter. Komaharu rushes to Boruto and asks if she's alright. Boruto focused so deeply in her livelihood that he might as well be deaf. He finally answers, I don't know! Blood runs down Sarada's shut eyes. No movement. No response. Inogen calls out the new count, currently at around 1,000 and still climbing. A false victory has now escalated to a high-stakes defeat. To be continued. Curious, isn't it? How a perfect plan can unravel so quickly. They prepared. They calculated. They executed. And yet, it wasn't enough. This was never about victory. It was about limitation. The limits of power, the limits of strategy, and the terrifying realization that some enemies don't lose. Because while the shinobi fight to survive, the swarm only needs to continue. And somewhere in the middle of it all, a demon still stands, watching, waiting for the next move. Until next time, same handsome Okage, same nerdy cinematic review. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Click on that bell so you know when I post next.